Donald Haynes created a portable.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sorry, it looks like I'm having some trouble with the sound, but I think now you can hear me, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay. So, some setup here. Okay. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. You guys can see my camera, I guess.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Okay, so alhamdulillah, another day, we are alive. It's Friday night and we are progressing in our journey. And today, inshallah, another interesting concept. And last time, what we talked about is Fi'l Amr. Fi'l Amr mean a command or request. Yes?
Yeah.
And we said there is a direct command.
You, second person.
Second person. Or there could be also indirect.
Third person and first person.
Command, which is first or third person. Okay. So today, what we have to do is we have to do the other one, meaning Fi'l Nahi. What is Fi'l Nahi? Don't do. This is do.
Imperative.
Fi'l Amr is do, and Fi'l Nahi is don't do.
Don't do.
Yeah, making sense? Okay, so we have to understand the difference between negation. That is number one. We need to understand what is negation. And number two is don't. So if I say La Yas Habu, who can tell me what is the translation of this? He
does not go.
Doesn't.
he doesn't
Oh,
go.
he does not.
He is not going, and he will
Not go.
not go. Do you see any command in there? Do you see any don't aspect? No.
No.
So now look at this. La tas habo. Who can translate this one?
Do not go.
You don't go.
Go.
You don't go.
You don't go. You are not going.
You will not go.
And the third one will be you will not go. Making sense? Yeah. So far, so good? Let's see if I can. Is it better this way?
Yes.
Okay. So now if I say something like La taz what is this?
تذهب.
You should not go.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it should
لا
be don't
don't.
go. Or basically
تذهب.
don't go, and specifically you don't go. Do you see, this is a more like a command. I'm telling you not to do something. Yeah, is that clear from these sentences? Now what is the difference between la tazhab, la yazhabu, la tazhabu? What is this? What kind of mudare is this? This is the normal kind. Normal kind is what? Because of the dhamma, rafa. Agree?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
this is, everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
This is third person. This
Yeah.
is what? Second person?
Second person.
Is it also normal?
Is that Dhamma? Yeah, it is normal.
Normal,
لا
right?
تذهب.
And is rafa. Look at this. What is this?
سكون.
Sukun. So we call it majzoom,
مجزوم.
or we call it akhaf. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when are, and then how would you say this la is la of negation? Lie, then don't, this is like I'm not doing anything. This is not a command. So how can you tell? If after the la you have the normal mudare, then it is not a command one. It is the negative one. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So this one, the Arabic is la e nafi. What is the name? La e nafi. That this is the lam of negative, negation. Yeah. But this is the other one. When it comes with the majzoom, this is la e nahi. Meaning it is a command, don't do something. Meaning don't. How would you recognize? After the la, if you have the majzoom, then it is la nahi. And if after the la, it is the regular mudare, then it's la nafi. Is that making sense, guys?
Yeah.
I only see one person. What's going on? Everybody else is there?
Yes, we're here. We're listening.
Okay. All right. MashaAllah. Brother Jamil is there. Sister Fazilat is there. MashaAllah. I see some of my favorite students here. All of you are my favorite student, by the way. Don't take any offense.
Mm.
Okay, so this is one of the concepts I wanted to clarify today, that Fele Amr is to say to somebody, do something, give a command. Direct command, second person. Indirect command, first person or third person. How do we do it in indirect command? We can say he should do it or I should do it. Yeah. Fele nahi is don't do something. And lie nafi is negative, negation. So the difference is that the mudare will come in the normal state, whether it's the third person or second person or even first person. Then the tazhab, which is majzoom or akhaf, then it will be nahi. Now, who remembers rafa is normal? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was nasab? Light.
Mansub.
Yeah, nasab is light, right?
Mhm.
And what is the jazm or majzoom?
Lightest.
The
Super light.
majzoom, the lightest.
Lightest.
Making sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So if that makes sense, let's look at some example here. So I did the same example here. La yazhabu, he doesn't go, he is not going, he will not go. So known as la-e nafi or lam of negation or la-e nafi. And this is la tazhab, this is la-e nahi. You don't go. So there is a, now how would you say somebody sit? How would you say somebody to, if you want to tell somebody to sit down, how are you going to say it?
Ajlis.
Ijlis. Yes. Ijlis. And if you have to say don't sit, how are you going to say?
La
La tajlis.
La
Yes.
tajlis.
So you can see when we learned last session the rules of making the mudare or the amr, we knew how to make the last letter sakina, and then we had to make the first letter sakina, remove the sign of mudare, and add a hamzatul wasl, and the
Haraka.
haraka is based on the ain letter.
Yes.
Yes. But in the lai nafi, the alamat mudare doesn't go anywhere, but the mudare is majzoom. La tajlis. If I say you don't go outside, I'm talking about one person. If I'm talking to one of you and I said you don't go outside, so what is the Arabic for that? La
La tajlis.
takhruj.
La
La
tajlis.
takhruj. Right? If I want to say to all of you, don't go. All of you don't go outside. What are you gonna say? La la tukhruju. Yeah. Why are we saying la tukhruju?
Because
Because when we make a majzoom, we drop the noon.
yes.
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 Yeah, awesome. Alhamdulillah. So this was one of the concepts I wanted to get it out of the way. Let's see. So, mashallah, mashallah. Okay. All right. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about today is, you can still see my screen, right? I want to talk about Fele Majhul. What do I want to talk about? Fele Majhul. Everybody say it with me. Majhul.
Majhul.
Majhul. Fail Majhul. In English, that means passive voice. What does it mean?
Passive voice.
Passive voice. So in order to understand that, first, let's look at some examples from the English language. So if I say, Harry ate 6 shrimp at dinner. This is an example of active voice. This is the example of active voice. Passive voice will be, at dinner, 6 shrimp were eaten by Harry. You see what happened here?
Second person and third person.
So in this case, Harry is, something is done by Harry, but the order of the words are different. And look at what happened to the verb. The verb was ate. In the active voice, the verb was ate. Now, in what happened when we made passive voice, it becomes were eaten.
Were
Becomes
eaten.
were eaten. Yeah? You see that?
Yes.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Inshallah, it will start to make sense. Then Sue, a female, changed the flat tire. Sue changed the flat tire. The flat tire was changed by Sue. That's a passive voice. Making sense? Okay, Mom read the novel one day. The novel was read by Mom one day. Okay, so active voice describes a sentence where the subject performs the action stated by the verb. In the active voice, can you tell me who the subject is? Harry, Sue, Mom. Yeah?
Yes.
They are the file. Subject is what? File. We know what subject is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in active voice, it describes a sentence where the subject performs the action stated by the verb. So we know Harry ate, Sue changed the tire, Mom read the book. Hmm? In the passive voice, the subject is acted upon by the verb. In the passive voice, the subject is acted upon by the verb. At dinner, 6 shrimp were eaten by Harry. The flat tire was changed by Sue. The novel was read by Mom one day. This is the English version of Fele Majhul, passive voice. If you're good, then I can take you to the Arabic part. I need some sound, some people saying something, somebody affirming that they understand.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys, it's not easy to be a teacher, guys. So you have to
We're
keep
trying
going, you know. Okay. So in Arabic, active voice is known as maruf or ma'loom.
Ma'lum.
Maruf
Or
and
ma'lum.
ma'loom. What does that mean?
To
That
know.
file is mazkur. Okay, just to make it easy, the subject is mentioned. Subject is mentioned. Mazkur mean there is a zikr of the file. We know the file. Yeah.
Okay.
So look at the example. Zaid helped Hamid. Who's the subject?
Right.
Zaid. Zaid is mentioned, right?
Yes.
So this is the active voice. If I say the same sentence here, Hamid was helped. So what do I say? Nusira Hamidun. Okay, we'll talk about that. Why Nusira Hamidun? But look, the Hamid was helped. Subject is not mentioned. We are not saying who helped him. Did we mention Zaid here?
No.
No. So in a situation where we hide the subject, and there could be two reasons. For example, subject is known, that could be one reason, or subject is unknown. What is the meaning of that? Meaning subject is known is something you know by default. For example, if I say man is created by made of clay, do I need to tell you who created man? No, because everybody knows that Allah created the man from clay. Making sense? That is one of the situations where I know the subject, I don't need to mention it. So here, same thing. If I was going to make the English sentence, I was going to say Hamid was helped by Zaid. Yes? Because we just saw some active voice messages or samples in plain English. But in Arabic, the object is that we are going to hide the subject, and then it will become fi'l majhul. It will become passive voice. Making sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so and passive, in order to make a passive voice, what is one thing we need to know or we need to have?
The action.
The action is always going to be there, but we need a maf'ul. We need the object.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
If I say I went, can I make a passive voice of that? I can't.
No.
I can't because I really can't make a active voice of I went because I was the only file and the verb, and there was no maf'ul. But in this sentence, Hamid was the object, was the maf'ul, right? So the sentences, verbal sentences of two kind, fe'l lazim, or the verbs are of two kind, fe'l lazim and fe'l mutaaddi. You have to go back maybe 5-6 sessions before. What was fe'l mutaaddi? Where the object is present. In a verbal sentence, what are the components of a verbal sentence? Who can tell me?
It begins with a verb.
Okay, you need to have a verb because the verbal sentence starts with
A verb.
Verb.
a verb. You need to have a file
File.
and you need to have a maf'ul,
Maf'ul.
right? So
Yeah.
in a verbal sentence where only fail and file and there is no need for the maf'ul, then we know that is fail lazim. Agree?
Yeah.
And if there is a fail mutaaddi, that means in addition to the file, the maf'ul has to be there. So the one of the conditions to make a fail majhul, the mutaaddi has to be, it has to be a fail mutaaddi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So how do we make fail majhul? That is the thing we're gonna learn today. Okay. So step number one. And by the way, we are talking about fail madi right now. So fail madi, we take the first siga. What does first siga mean?
Huwa.
Huwa. Meaning, if we take nasara, nasara is
He helped.
he
Iha.
helped.
He helped. Yeah.
That is, we know already. So our step number one, when we are trying to make the fail majhul, we take the first siga. Siga means the first cell. Then step number two, the last letter, don't touch.
Oh, okay.
What is the rule? Don't touch the last letter. So if we're not going to touch the last letter, it's going to stay fatha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Step number three, middle letter, change it to kasra.
Nasira.
Okay, so that will become nasira. Making sense? Okay, step number three, the middle letter needs to be changed to kasra. Step number four, how many letters left behind?
First,
How many letters are left?
first letter.
First
First
letter.
letter.
But if there happen to be more than one letter and they have haraka on it, on all those letters, we change it to dhamma. Any other letters? Any other letters with haraka?
Does
The
that mean we
condition
need
is
to have
with haraka.
Hamzat al-Wasl?
Change it to
Dhamma.
dhamma. So then it will become
Nusira.
si ra.
Mm-hmm.
Making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that means
Good done.
he was helped.
He was
Yes.
Yes. That is how you make. You take the first siga of fi'l madi. You don't touch the last letter. Second letter you change it to kasra. If anything left behind and if it has a haraka on it, you change it to with the dhamma. You change the haraka to dhamma.
Okay.
Okay. And then we will take a look at some examples. But so far, have you understood the concept?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So who can tell me what do you understand about fi'l majhul? Try to give me as much detail as possible. Brother Javed, let me start with you, mashallah.
In Majhul, we do not know the person who did the action. And it is never the first person, always be, it could be second or third person.
No, we didn't talk anything about fi'l majhul like that. What is fi'l majhul? What is the one criteria about fi'l majhul which we are discussing? It has to do with the file. Yeah.
The
Okay.
file is not known, right? Is that what the majhul is, right?
Okay. So
The
you're okay.
file.
Repeat. Could you please repeat what you were saying?
I said in majhul, the file, the doer is not known. It's either understood or it's not known.
Perfect. That's good. That's a good fact. Okay. So in majhul, the file is not mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the active voice? What does the active voice mean? The file is, the subject is
Mazkur.
mazkur. What does the mazkur mean?
Mentioned.
Mentioned. Okay. So then let's say if you are going to give me an example, how do we make something into majhul?
Passive voice.
We need maful.
Take the verb.
So step number 1, you're going to say, we are going to take the first siga of fi'l madi. Yeah. The starting point is the first siga of fi'l madi. Yeah.
Yes.
Step 1,
The
last letter, don't touch.
Stays same.
second
Yeah.
one.
Don't touch it.
The second.
Middle letter, change it to
Kasra.
kasra. Anything left after that with the haraka, change it to
Dhamma.
dhamma. Is everybody understood that part? Okay. I need to.
So brother Abid,
Yes, sir.
this is the first letter is we are assuming that there could be more than 3-letter verbs.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Otherwise, we could start from the first letter, the same rules.
Yeah, we can start from the first letter, but it's better to start with these steps because that's how they use it. So again, remember in Arabic language, the verbs, 99% of the verbs are made up of 3 root letters. Yeah. So that is why they are the most widespread 3 root letters. But there are other forms which, inshallah, time permitting, if you're willing to learn, we can talk about those. But right now, let's focus on these 3 letters. So I'm going to give you some examples now. So let's look at this example. Shariba Ibrahimu al-ma'a. Yeah. Who can translate that for me?
Ibrahim drank water.
Ibrahim drank the water. Yes. Al-ma'a. Now, what is the file here?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. How can you tell?
The
Because of the
Marfu'a.
Rafa. Ibrahimu is Rafa. Yeah. Al-ma'a is
Maf'ul.
nasab, right? Nasab in a sentence is object. So maful is
Ma.
Object.
Shariba is the verb, right?
yes.
Now, if we apply the rule to Shariba, is Shariba the first sigha of Madi?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if we apply the rule, then what happened to letter Ba?
Stay the
Is the same.
It doesn't change. We don't touch it.
Don't touch.
And in the second letter is already Kasra. Do we need to do anything?
No.
No.
Dhamma.
Then what happened to the first letter, which is Sheen?
Change to Dhamma.
Dhamma.
Change to Dhamma. Then it will become Shuribal Ma'u. Another rule that when we are making fail a majhul, the maf'ul changes from nasab to rafa. Remember that. Another rule is if the maf'ul which comes after the verb and when you change it into majhul, it changes into rafa. You see that what happened? Al-ma'a become al-ma'u. So the water was drunk or drank. Okay. So because we are talking about, well, how do we say that? Drink, the first category drink and then drank, right? What is the third one?
Drunk.
Also drank, right?
Drunk.
Drunk?
Drunk.
Okay, drunk. Okay. So did you get that idea that what am I trying to tell you here? Shuriba.
Question over here.
Yes.
So there is no way that we can mention Ibrahim in Fi'l Majhul? Like Shurib al-Ma Ibrahim, something like
Ibrahim.
water was drank by Ibrahim or something.
No, that is the intent, that in Arabic, when we are making a majhul, we are intentionally hiding the file.
Hide.
No, we are hiding. If it the
Or we
way
are
I
not, no,
understood
not
is,
hiding. We are not mentioning the file.
if it's known, that we are not mentioning. But if it's unknown, then should we not
Even
mention?
unknown, we don't mention. For example, here,
Well, if
Khaliq,
you don't know, then how can you mention it?
say that again.
I say if you do not know who did it,
Yeah. So,
then
for example, if we say, so what was the example?
If it's a common knowledge, we don't need to mention. But if
Yes. And sometimes we
So
don't know the file, right?
yeah, we don't know exactly.
Yes. Like we could say there was a robbery in the neighborhood. Yeah. So we don't know who did the robbery. The generic answer will be some thief did the robbery, right? But we don't know the specifically who was the file, who was the actor, or who was the subject who did that. So, for example, here, khalaqal insana min teen. Do we need to mention that who created insan?
no, and
No.
this is a common knowledge.
Right? So
Yeah.
again, that is the intent of fi'l majhul, that in inshallah you will see in the Quran, there are a lot of examples of it where you will see that the file is not mentioned. Either we know about it or we don't know. Yeah. So who can translate to this one? Khalaqal insana min at-teen.
Created mankind from mud.
The mankind was created from clay,
Clay.
right? Created, because, and now we want to make it majhul. How do we do that? Last letter we don't touch. The middle letter, what we do? Put kasra. The first letter we put dhamma. So khulikal insanu, insana was the maf'ul. Yeah. How do we know? Because it was insana. Then what will happen to in a majhul? It will become insanu.
what?
Insanu, because we said the maf'ul, when you making majhul, it changes into rafa. So khulikal insanu minatin. Man was created from.
I'm confused over here. When you put Dhamma on insan, doesn't it become file like insan created?
No. That is the thing. See, again, these are the rules of making a majhul, fail majhul. Okay, so these are the rules. We have to apply those, because here khulikal insanu, they will have dhamma, and that's the rule. Now, why it is, I don't know why they did it. They kind of changed the maf'ul into the file. Yeah, if we try to apply our knowledge to it, then, but this whole word has changed. Khulikal insanu minatin. Okay. Now, this is a new subject for me as well. So I do not know too much in detail, but inshallah I can find out, or we can, I can find a chapter where we have more details or more information or more examples, inshallah. But for now, I think the part you should understand, that fail majhul will be there when there is a maf'ul. And the verb will change in 3 steps. Last letter will not change. The middle letter will have a kasra. And anything after that with a haraka will change into dhamma. Yeah. And the maf'ul will change its haraka from nasab to dhamma, which is rafa. Yeah. Okay. Now, minatini. What is minatini?
From the
Jar majroor, right?
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
Jar majroor, right?
Mm,
Okay. So, kara an nasu al Qur'ana. Who can translate this?
Naso Al-Qur'an.
People read the Quran.
People read the Quran.
Yeah.
Yes. Al Qur'ana, right? So al, when there is al, so we have to put the da in the translation, right?
Yeah,
That people read the Quran. So who is the subject here? people. If I change it into fi'l majhul, what am I going to do? The last letter will not change. The middle will change into
Kasra.
kasra, kaf. The first letter will change into
Dhamma.
dhamma. And the file will disappear. We're not going to mention. We'll say Quri al-Qur'anu. Quri al-Qur'anu.
Duh.
Because al-Qur'ana will become al-Qur'anu. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, these things are new, but Quran has a lot of examples of these. So I encourage all of you to, yes, this will take some reading, some practicing, and then inshallah it'll start to make sense. Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. No need to worry. We always come across new things, and the best thing is to instead of fighting it, accept it by learning the rules and looking at many examples, and then they'll start to make sense, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Majhul state, Majhul state, the Dhamma that is coming normally indicate that is a file, but it is here, it is just the opposite.
Mm-hmm. So
No.
that is what they're trying to say, that when you're making a majhul, the file is not mentioned, and the maf'ul needs to change into a rafa. Okay, so again here, nusira hamidun. It was nasara zaidun hamidan, because hamidan was the file, or maf'ul. Zaid was the file. But when you change into passive voice, then hamidun, it changed into rafa. It says also here, change object into subject.
So Nusra Hamidun means Hamid was head.
Yes. Okay. And we're not mentioning who helped him. Okay, somebody helped him. Okay, let me see if I can find something to share with you. In the meantime, keep pondering on this. Remind yourself, what is the intent of majhul? The intent of majhul is the file is not mentioned, and then how do we change the active voice into passive voice? Okay. All right. I'm trying to search for some examples for you. Okay. Okay, so I think I found something for you guys. 260. Okay.
Is your screen frozen?
No, I'm actually searching while I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show you now because I think I found what I was going to show you guys. Okay. All right, tell me you can see this.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's see. The known verb al-fail al-ma'ruf is the active voice. Yes, we understand that, right?
Mhm.
When we know something known, maruf is then somebody is known, well known, right? Here is here the subject is known. In this active voice, we know the subject is known. The doer of the verb is specified or mentioned. We have discussed these kind of verbs in all the preceding chapters on the patterns of fa'ula, fa'ila, fa'ala. So far, so good? Yes, and whatever we are reading right now, we understand that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, inna
And
sakhitallahu alayhim wa fil azabi hum khalidun. That Allah is displeased with them and they will stay in the punishment. Okay. Hatta iza balagha maghrib shamsi, until when he reached the setting place of the sun. Okay. The passive voice of the verb is called al-failul majhul. What is known as majhul? Unknown. Opposite of maruf. Maruf mean known, unknown, al-failul majhul. The subject is unknown, that is, the doer is not specified. The passive verb is usually formed from a transitive verb, a fail mutaaddi. So far in sync with what I said?
Yep.
Okay. So it has two components, the passive verb and the object. As the subject al-file is not present, the subject will take the haraka of the subject. The object will take the haraka of the subject. Isn't that what we talked about?
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then basically it has a name. It is not called file, but it's called naibul file. Naibul file. What is naib? Is the
Yes.
deputy of subject.
Khalifa.
Okay. So here, wada al kitabu. Wada al kitabu. Now, so al majhul is this one, and naibul file is al kitabu here, because this is, I don't know, they didn't give me a good example, but we'll look into that. And the records of deed will be placed. And the records of deeds will be placed.
So should it not be wuzia?
Yeah,
Should be
that is why I'm also getting thrown off. So the example I give you is supposed to be wadia. Now, why
wuzia.
is it wadia? We don't know yet. We're gonna inshallah find out with more.
The typo there. Maybe it's not print is not maybe the
Okay,
print.
so let's take a look at this. Rufi'a. It is of something we know. Yes,
Rufiya.
it is falling in the lesson we learned. Rufi'a.
Yes.
So Rufi'a mean he was raised. Rufi'a, they too were raised. Rufi'u, they all were raised.
Alright.
Okay. So again, those 14 patterns we have learned, they always stay the same. I mean, we need to just change our pattern, but they always going to be in 14, combination of 14. So rufi'at, rufi'ata, rufi'na. Yeah. That's for the monas. The she was raised, the two were raised, and rufi'at, rufi'tuma, rufi'tum. Yeah. So same thing, the all 14 were here. Sumia, again follows our pattern.
He was
Yes.
listened.
Nusira follows our pattern. So nusira, nusira, nusiru, nusirta, or nusirat, nusirata, nusirna. If you look at that, you see that we only put the dhamma on the first letter, because it was nasara and then the kasra here. You see that? Okay. Sami'u, sumi'a, sumi'u, sumi'at, sumi'tuma, sumi'tum. You get the idea, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm sure that you have this book with you guys. Yes?
What you yes.
I have sent this book in the previous lessons, or if you don't have it, you can still get it from me. Okay, look at this now. Wajumi ash-shamsu wal qamar. Wajumi ash-shamsu wal qamar. Ash-shamsu wal qamar is what here?
The moon and the
The
sun.
object. But in here they have the dhamma because they are the
For the
deputy
file.
of the file. So when the sun and moon will be brought together.
9 for the file.
Okay. So look, this will be is a sign of majhul, and the brought is still the verb, but there is addition. Like the, you know how we say Zaid was helped or they were helped and things. Remember in the English sentences there was a was, were, addition of that.
What indicates the will over here? What is the thing that let us know that it is the future?
Because you know that they will brought together in the future, not right now.
We know that. That is logic.
Okay.
Apart from
So
the text
again,
of it.
remember that in translation, because the Arabic language doesn't have like word for word translation, so the English language has to add certain helper things to make it make it understandable. Okay, so Jumi ash-shamsu wal qamar. So here this example is saying it will be brought together. It cannot be was brought together because it's not done yet. Okay, so innal, let's go next one. Innal
But the
lazina.
normal majhul is always in past, right? So that's
No, okay, we are learning at the moment past, but that doesn't mean that the mudari doesn't have a majhul. We haven't looked at the mudari yet.
okay.
Okay, so because all this time we did not do majhul, so we starting from the fi'l madi, and then inshallah we will talk about the majhul of mudari as well. Okay,
How about the future? There will be a module in future also.
I'm sure there will be. So let me get that information for you in next time. But right now, try to focus on the subject on hand, and let's see how they are making it. So, innal lazina yuhaddun Allah wa rasuluh kubitu kama kubita lazina min qablihim. So, kubitu is majhul. Yeah, because it has the kasra and it has the dhamma here. Okay. So, what are the translation? Those who resist Allah and His Messenger will certainly be disgraced as those before them were disgraced. Again, there was a will here. So I don't know too much about that. Maybe it is there. I can't explain it. So inshallah, let me either study more or get back to you on that. But it is using the will here. Okay. وَفُتِحَتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ أَبْوَابًا. This verse should be more familiar to us because we read Surah An-Naba, right? Is it from Surah An-Naba? And the sky will be opened and it will become gates. وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. And toward the sky, how it is raised. Fil majhul. Okay. وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ. And towards the mountain, how they were rooted. وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. And towards the earth, how it is spread. Can you see the pattern here? Rufiat, Nusibat, Sutihat. What can you tell me about this? What is this Siga number? Siga number? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
This is
4.
4.
Why?
Dhamma.
Because
Third person.
Monnas is female. Is Sama is Monnas or male?
Manas.
With Monnas, Rufiat. Al Jibal, Monnas. Ard, Monnas. Wa izal wuhushu hushirat. Okay. لو كان لنا من الأمر شيء ما قتلنا ها هنا. Okay, this one I don't know. Kutilna is Kutilna is again the Dhamma and Kasra, and Na is us. Okay. Had we any power in the affair, we would not have been slain here. Kutila Ashabul Ukhdud. Be killed, owners of the pit. Kutiba alaykum siyamu kama kutiba alal lazina min qablikum la'allakum tuflihun, or whatever the next verse was. They didn't put that there. Fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you. Okay. La man zulima. La man zulima. Except from one to whom injustice was done. So this was tells me that's a majhul. Wa uridu ala rabbika saffa. And they will be presented before your Lord in ranks. Dhamma kasra.
Yes.
And it is singular or plural?
Plural.
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 Wow. Alif.
Male or female?
Male.
Male.
وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ, and the trumpet will be blown, and it will be blown into the trumpet.
Abid, this word safa is row or rank?
Which one?
The word safa, is it row?
Safa mean rows.
Why they call it rank? Because rank is something
It's
like a
plural. It's ranks. Mean Safa, Saf. You know what? Saf is the rows, but they are ranks too, right? The first row, second row, third row. So basically, they will be present in the front of their Lord in the lines, in the rows, in the ranks. First one, second one, third one, fourth one. Yeah. So Safa is the plural of Saf.
Yes.
Okay, now the question is it Jama Salim or Jama Mukassar?
Uridu.
Safa.
Salim.
Jama?
Al-
Jama Mukassar.
Mukassar.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Alright.
All right, I think this should help you with whatever I showed you on the piece of paper. This should reinforce the understanding. At least 90% of what we saw is corresponds with what I showed you on the piece of paper. Agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, I know it's a difficult subject. It is a difficult subject for me as well, because for the first time I got this far that I was able to bring it to your attention. But I think we got a very good basic understanding. I mean, we may not know a lot of in-depth knowledge, but the high-level knowledge, at least we can identify what this means. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at some couple of verses before we log off tonight
Yes.
and see if we come across any fi'l majhul here. Okay, Suratul Kahf, where is it? It was chapter 18, isn't it? Right here. Okay, and I think we were up to
29, 30.
30, 31 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we got that done. Okay. Okay, so this is the one we are supposed to. We got to the part where we have finished.
Frozen.
Yeah, the story of the Sabi Kahf we finished.
The screen is frozen.
Sorry, guys. Let me. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what the rib? Now we know that dariba is we know that it means to hit something, right? Dariba. Remember?
Yeah.
But wadrib is it fi'l amr. So it means and hit. If we do our translation, we're gonna say and hit. Yes. But wadrib also means give an example. Give an example. So wadrib lahum, and set forth to them masalan. Give them an example, right? So wadrib in Quran also comes in when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to give an example to people or tell them a story or something. So now we have come to the part of Suratul Kahf where we are going to learn about the story of two friends. Yeah. So wadrib lahum, and set forth to them masalan. Masalan is from where? Misal. Misal is what? An example. What is rajulaini? How many men?
Two.
Two men. So what is the rafa of rajul? What is the dual of Rajul and the Rafa?
Rajulani.
Rajulani. Rajulani. And if it's Rajulani, are we talking about the men or the men are doing something?
2 men.
We are talking about 2 men. So are they Rafa or they Nasab?
Okay.
Nasab,
Nasab.
the object.
Yeah.
And how do you make the Nasab of dual?
Rajulaini.
Rajulaini. Yeah, remember that part?
Yeah.
So this is sort of a review. Ja'alna, what is the Siga number here?
Jal.
Who created? We
Light.
provided. Ja'alna
We provide.
We made.
or we made actually.
14.
Yeah.
We made or
Jal.
provided. So
Jal.
this is the Siga number 14. We
14.
provided. Pehle Madi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what Ja'alna li ahadihima. One of them. We provided for one of them. What is the li here? Lam is preposition.
Li for preposition. Yeah.
Hima
For
is what?
both.
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 Attach or detach?
Attach.
Attach. Why
Attach.
Hima and not Huma?
Because of harf jar.
Because of harf jar, and also there is a kasra before the Hima. When there is a kasra before the Hima, it becomes Hima. Otherwise, it will be Huma.
Mhm.
Ahadihuma or li ahadihima jannataini. Jannatain, Jannah, the meaning of Jannah is garden, right? What is the literal meaning of Jannah?
Garden.
Garden.
Garden. Jannataini,
Two.
Gardens.
two
Two
gardens.
gardens. Two
So
gardens.
specifically 2 gardens because Jannat, Jannatani, Jannataini, Jannataini. Making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that tell them the story of 2 men.
2 men.
One of them we provided for him 2 gardens. Min anabiyum of grapes. Wa hafafnahuma bi nakhliyum, and we bordered them with date palms. So what's happening? There are grapes in the middle. There are grapes, and outside is the wall of all the the date palm trees. Okay. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا, and we placed between both of them what? The grapes and the date palm trees, zar'a. There is also vegetation or crops in between. In other words, this is one of the unique gardens which has all kind of stuff. It has grapes, it has dates, and it has other crops in between. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that how much favor He has bestowed upon is one of them, so that you know what is going on. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the next verse, Kiltal jannataini atat ukuluha walam tazlim minhu shayya. Then each of the 2 gardens brought forth its produce and not did wrong of it anything. Meaning the crops were always like amazingly there to its fullest extent. Are you guys with me on this so far?
Yeah.
And then Fajjarna. What happened what is Fajr?
So that,
Morning.
The break of the morning, right? Break of the dawn.
Oh, Fajr. Yes.
Fajr. Now you understand why we call it Salat Fajr? Because that is the time when the day is breaking away from the night
Mm.
before the sunrise.
Yes.
So Fajjarna, and we caused to gush forth. Khilalahuma. Khilalahuma, within them, Nahara, a river. So what is left was, when you have a garden, you have crops, and you have date palm trees, what do you need? You need water.
Water. Yeah.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I have
Potable
provided
water.
for him in between all this
Right.
Nahar. Nahar is a river. Like if there is a river going around, does he need to worry about watering his plants?
No.
No. Now, khilalahuma, very important. You know, the men who have the beard, when they are making wudu, they do khilal of the beard. What is the meaning of khilal?
To wipe.
Make it wet.
They wet their fingers and put it under,
Pass it
inside the
over.
beard, so that they can wet their face, right? That's khilalahuma. So imagine in between the crops and the date palms and the grapes, there are river in between, and like it's built in. They don't need to do anything. So now you got a big picture of visual picture that what this guy was blessed with. Mashallah, he was blessed with gardens of grapes, gardens of date palms, and there are other crops. And then on top of that, he has the irrigation problem solved. Wakana lahu samar, and it has plenty of fruit for him. Yeah, obviously he's gonna have vegetation, he's gonna have grapes, he's gonna have dates. Then what happens? Faqala li sahibihi. Faqala, so he said
To
to
his
his
friend,
companion.
companion.
Who's his companion? His friend. Wahuwa yuhawiruhu, and when they were, while he was talking with him. So is yuhawiruhu here? It doesn't say anything about majhul, but it sounded like a majhul. Okay. Then ana aksaru minka. Who can translate this? I am
Greater than you.
aksaru kasrat
Father.
kasir. I am greater than you. In what? Malau, in wealth.
One.
Wa and
Stronger.
stronger nafara nafri. Urdu में बोलते हैं nafri. Men,
Count.
army,
Kid.
employees, task force, the labor
Oh,
force.
okay.
Is that making sense, guys? What I'm trying to tell you here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so mashallah, you can see he's now boasting.
yeah.
He's trying to put his friend down. He's trying to talk down to him.
Too
Yeah.
much pride.
So look, he said, "Oh, look, I am better than you in mal, in my wealth, and I'm stronger than you because I have an army of people, or I have a labor force, or he might have sons or other people around him to help him." Then what else he said? وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ, and he entered his jannah, his garden, وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ, while he was unjust to himself. Now, even if I don't translate this, are you guys able to get the gist of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is going on here? And now I would like all of us to put ourselves in the shoes of this man. And don't we do this sometime out of ignorance? Then when we're talking to somebody, we feel that, oh, look,
Yeah.
I am better than you. I have more money. I have a better house than you. I have a better car than you. I have more children. Or, my wife is prettier than yours. Yeah. Okay. So again, then he did that to himself. He was unjust to himself. قال ما أظن, and he said, I don't think. He said, I don't think an. What do we know about an? An is that. And when an comes, and if it follows by fi'l mudare, what is that fi'l mudare? In what form is it?
Nasab.
Nasab. So look at this. Fi'l mudare mansoob.
Hmm.
An tabida. If it was in, brother Javed, if it was in, then it would be an tabid.
Yeah.
Akhaf.
In tabid, because in will make it majzoom. Remember those words? An tabida hazihi abada. He said, I don't think that this blessings I have, they will ever perish. Look at his confidence. He said, I don't think that these blessings I have will ever finish, okay, or ever go away from me. Abada mean ever. Wama azunnu sa'ata qaimatui. This is the trouble sentence. And he said, I don't think the last hour will occur. He denied the last hour, the Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Say that again.
Say that again.
Sa'ata qa'imatan.
So I don't think the hour will occur. Remember, whenever the hour is mentioned in the Quran, mean the day of judgment.
The
Right?
day of judgment.
Okay. Then he said, okay, let's assume, wala in rudittu, and if I am brought back, let's say if there was a Yawm al-Qiyamah and I'm brought back, ila Rabbi, to my Lord, la ajidanna khayran minha. What is la ajidanna?
I will surely find.
Have we learned
لا
لا أجدن فعل مضارع ونون التأكيد. Yes.
yeah
Which noon
أجدن
is sakila or khafifa?
Sakila.
Sakila. And what do you see? The lam in the beginning. La ajidanna. I will surely find khaira, better than this. Munkaliba, as a return. So he is so confident that he said, first of all, I'm better than you. I am like, I have more money than you, more power. And look, I don't think these blessings will ever go away. And I don't think there is a day of Qiyamah. But let's assume if there is day of Qiyamah is there and I was brought back, I am so special. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me, definitely will give me more than what, better than this when I come back. Do we sometimes fall in this trap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I don't want to keep you guys, so I'll stop here. But this is so interesting story, and for me, it was a life-changing experience when I really get to know the verses and the meaning behind it. And then I'm just sharing it with you because of these thoughts. They come every day, every time you meet somebody, some creepy thoughts gets into your mind. And the remedy to save yourself from this problem, you say one dua. And let's remind each other of that. Masha Allah, la quwwata illa billah.
لا قوة إلا
Masha Allah,
إن شاء الله
la quwwata illa billah.
La quwwata
So
illa
anytime you have this thought, just as a fraction of a second, something crosses your mind. If you are aware of this problem, what will happen to this guy next? Just say, Masha Allah, la quwwata illa billah.
لا قوة
Okay, and there is a hadith about that, and the
لا
nearest to
حول
the
ولا
meaning is
قوة
that
إلا
if you want your blessings to be protected and you don't want to lose your blessing, so keep mentioning this, mashallah, la quwwata illa billah. Okay, jazakallah khair. I hope you guys feel the same excitement I feel when I do this exercise, because I feel these words give me a new meaning every time I look at them, or I have a new awakening or new connection with Quran every time I see this or I go through this with you guys. And thank you very much for listening to me or letting me explain this or doing this exercise as a team, because it has a blessing when you do it as a team. Yes, agree?
ما بركة yeah
Alhamdulillah, I am so happy right now. And look at this. فعل ماضي مبني لا مجهول ورددت.
ربي
Got our dhamma, we got our kasra, and the rest is fine. You see that?
تماما
Okay, so may Allah give us another good Friday tomorrow, and we pray to Him, we thank Him, and we can't thank Him enough for all His blessings. May Allah Ta'ala, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala accept this session from us and open our hearts to His message and His book and give us more knowledge. Rabbi zidni ilma. Rabbi zidni ilma.
يا أرحم الراحمين
Ameen. So, Jazakallah khair, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaykum
Jazak.
salam.
Subhanakallahumma wa
ورحمة الله
bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta
وبركاته
nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.